Let's talk about probability. First, I want you to write what you think you know about probability. What assumptions do you already have? What do you think the definition of probability is? Can you give some examples that use probability? Pause the video and write down some of your thoughts. Now see if you can gather some coins around your house. You really only probably need one coin to do this next experiment, but if you have one of each, you can use them. When you flip a coin, what are the possible results you could get? What can you get when you flip a coin? You can get heads or tails. We're going to use H for heads and T for tails as an abbreviation. What is the probability that the coin lands on one of those outcomes? You likely said 1/2 or 50% or 0.5. All of those are correct. We have two possible outcomes, and when we flip the coin, one of them must occur. So we have one out of two possibilities. That is our probability that the coin lands on one of those outcomes. If you were to take a coin and flip it 10 times, how many heads would you expect out of those 10 flips? You would expect 5. Why? How did you get it? If we have 10 flips and there's a probability of 1/2 for each flip, 10 times 1/2 will give us 5. But here's the tricky thing about probability. Probability does not guarantee that we will have 5 heads out of those 10 flips. What I want you to do is to take a coin and flip that coin 10 times. And when you flip it, keep track of whether you get a head or a tail in the table. Now, if you only have one type of coin, that's perfectly fine. Just do that one type of coin 40 times. 10 flips for each column to give you 40 total flips. If you don't have coins lying around your house that you can find, there is an online coin flipper website that I will link to in the video as well as in our site so that you can go directly to it and try it out. Once you've completed the table, I'm going to have you log into Canvas and find a lab for coin flips for all your data. There's some instructions in the course so that you can input your data and we can create an entire class set of coin flips and see what happens. And then a question that's kind of hard to answer online, this last one. Does your number of heads for each of the 4 coins equal 5, which is what you would expect from flipping it 10 times? By creating this online coin flip database for our class, you can see what everyone else got for their coin flips. We can do some comparisons that way. So try it out. In the next part of our lesson, we'll talk about definitions of our vocabulary words. Before you watch the next part, find the definitions in your textbook and write them down. It is very helpful when you're learning a new subject if you use multiple ways to obtain information, not just hearing and seeing someone else do it like these videos are, but also reading it on your own in another context. So open up that online textbook, find those definitions, or if you're using an older edition textbook, find the definitions in those textbooks. Any statistics textbook with a probability chapter will have these definitions in them. And so you'll write them down on the next page. There are a lot of vocabulary words in statistics, and I won't make you memorize those definitions word for word in my class, but you do need to be familiar enough so that you know what these words mean. You may want to make flashcards to help you remember them. But again, I'm not going to require you to memorize these definitions word for word. So with that, take a look at your book, write down some definitions, and then come back for part 2 of this series, and we will discuss these definitions and provide some context and examples for each of them.